This video is going to show you how to use Classpad and change colors, and that's colors for the paper in general, and then colors in things such as graphs or in geometry. So this is a Classpad paper, and one of the places where you can change colors, if you look across the top, there is a kind of border for the paper, and you can change that color by going over here to the right, and you'll see your options. You have 8 different colors that you can change it to. So I could change it to gray, and it's as easy as just picking the color, and you'll notice that changes across the banner, across the top. So why would you want to do that? Well, for example, let's say you are teaching both algebra and geometry. So when you're making activities or using activities, if you want to color code your activities, so all your algebra might be yellow and all of your geometry might be pink. So that's one reason why you might want to change the banner color at the top. Another place you can change, so here are our different options. Calculate is not a place where color matters because Calculate is just doing calculations, but graphing, color does come into play. So here's a graph, and right now you can't necessarily change any color. If you go up to 3 dots, you can change the color of the graph to white is the default, and if you change it to gray, it kind of makes it gray. So that's about the main color difference for basically the graphing background. But where color does come into play here is when you are graphing functions or plotting points. So if I click a graph function, you'll notice that the default, the first color that comes up is blue. If you don't want your graph to be blue, all you have to do to change the color of a graph, an equation sticky, is to click on that side border, and notice you have the same color options here. So you can choose to do that. If you just start graphing, so let's just make a really simple graph here, 2x. Oops, you have to have y equals, sorry. It graphs in blue, and then if you make another equation, notice that the next one automatically changes color. So your graphs are going to automatically change color until they run through all 8. So they're going to do it in order. So if we click on here, it's going to go blue, then red, then green, then yellow. If you don't like a color, you can always change it. If you want 2 graphs to have the same color, you could do that. If I wanted the second one to also be blue, I could change that. So changing color in graphs just is as simple as when you go to the equation sticky, click on the left side color, and you can choose the color that you would like it to be. So that's one place where you can change colors in the graph menu. You can also, if we go back up here, change the style, since we're here, to it's automatically defaulting to a solid line, but let's say you want it to be a dashed line, and so that's another place to change not only color, but the style of the line. And you can also hide or show a graph. So let's say you have a graph, you want to see it for a little while, but then you want to hide it because you want to look at something else, you can show or hide the graph. So the equation stays there, but you'll notice when we hide it, we don't see the graph on the graph, we just see the equation, and the color has sort of become a little grayed out. So those are the options there. Another place on graph where you're going to work with color is plotting points. So if I click this, it brings up a little table, and again, default color is always blue. That's the first color it's going to start with in the range of colors. If you click on the 3 dots, you can change the background of this plot table to gray or white, but here's where you can change the color of the points. So let's say we want our points to be purple. You'll notice now that that's purple up here, and as I put some points in, my points will show up as purple points on my grid. And plotting points is really easy, but now I have these points that I can now move, and as I move them, you'll see the color a little more apparent that it's purple, and it shows the coordinates. So those are the 2 places on graph that you can change colors. The colors of your actual graphs that you post, the function lines, curves, and also points. And again, it's as simple as clicking the 3 dots, choosing the color, or clicking the color bar and choosing the color. Let's go to one more place, or actually there's 2 more places. Let's go to text. Text is another place where you can change color. So this is where you might want to coordinate your text to match the coordinated color up here. So if we're doing an activity that's, say, algebra, and we want it all to be yellow, our directions are going to want to be in yellow as well. So this is the 3 dots again, and you'll notice here's your color schemes, and so we want it to be yellow. So now we have our text box that matches our banner up there. So very simple to change the color of a text box simply by going to the 3 dots and choosing the color you're interested in. And you have basically the same 8 colors here. They're a little bit more muted in the text box. So I'm going to keep that. One nice thing that I like to do is have my directions text match my banner, but then any place where I want students to be writing their own observations or solutions, I change that text box to be a different color. So maybe it's always green or something. The last place where you can change color is geometry. So let's go into geometry. And geometry is obviously you're going to be doing constructions. And so just like all the other ones, the default color is always blue. So if I just draw or construct anything, it's going to turn into a blue one, and it'll stay blue until I change the color myself or choose and select. So how could I change the color before I draw the next thing? One way to change color is to do it before you construct a new object. So to do that, you're going to click over here to the right, and you'll see properties, and properties is where you can change all the different things that you see on the screen. So here's where your color options are. Is you can change the kind of line, so you can make it skinnier, or it default is thicker. You can change it to be a small dashed or larger dashed. You can change any text size. So this is where you're changing, like if you don't like your points, you can change them here to be open or square or an X. So here's where I would change my color. So I can do it before I draw something. So let's say I change it to green this time. So now the next object that I construct or draw and all the objects after are going to be green. So you can do it before you change something, or let's say I decide, you know what, I want this square to actually be a different color, or maybe just this side of that square. So another way to change color is to select something you've already done. So notice the difference. I've selected this segment up here, this side. It's kind of bold compared to the others, and now I can choose, it's telling me what current color it is, I can choose it to be a different color. So color changes in geometry can be done beforehand. So if you pick the color first and then construct, that color will be the color that everything is constructed in, or you can go back in the end and select something and change its color after the fact. So those are the different ways to change color in Classpad.net.